Our coverage begins in Nigeria's capital, Abuja, where we understand that several Nigeria Labour Congress leaders, including its president, Joe Ajaero, are gathering at the NLC headquarters for an emergency National Executive Council meeting. This comes after Ajaero was summoned by the Nigerian police force for an investigation into allegations of terrorism, financing, treasonable felony and cybercrime. The police had instructed Ajaero to appear for questioning at 10 a.m. today. The summons dated August 19, 2024 was signed by ACP Adamu Muazu on behalf of the Deputy Commissioner of Police Intelligence Response Team. The police also warned that a warrant of arrest would be issued if Ajaero fails to comply with the summons. To discuss this, I'm joined by the NLC Head of Information and Publicity, Mr. Benson Upa. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
All right. The police had denied breaking into the library of the NLC headquarters. I mean, they cited that there was a foreign terrorism sponsor just next to the NLC office. Can you confirm to us how true that information is, and why is Joe Ajaero in the picture of all of a sudden with multiple allegations?
Well, we clearly stated in our communique of the NEC after the raid and in the press conference that we did last Thursday that we have nothing to do with terrorism. We do not know of any international terrorists operating in our premises, and we asked the police to apologize for their act of invasion, which was a violation of our right. Instead of the police to apologize, what they have done, acting on orders from above, I suppose, would be to embark on intimidation by writing a letter inviting the President of the Congress that his name has been mentioned in investigations related to conspiracy, terrorism financing, and related offenses. So it is up to the police to let us know what they are up to.
Okay. I mean, we hear that you had a meeting with stakeholders. Can you confirm to us who was present at the meeting? And if you don't mind, can you share with us what the communique simply is?
I'm sure the communique should be with you now, but for the purpose of this introduction, do permit me to say that I'm sorry, I have a cold.
Sorry about that.
That the NEC, yes, the NEC strongly condemned the continued harassment of the leadership of the Congress, which the NEC viewed as a calculated attempt to weaken and destabilize the labor movement, which not a few see as the bastion of democracy. The NEC also advised government to desist from its evil intentions and stop the ongoing witch hunt against leaders of the Congress forthwith. The NEC resolved that the Congress President will honor the invitation as a law-abiding citizen, and as you also know, the Nigerian Labour Congress is a law-abiding organization. So the Congress President will honor the invitation, but certainly not today. In fact, he has not even been served. They had copy up to the time that the NEC met. They had copy of that invitation, has not come. So the NEC asked for more time to enable the president honor the invitation. Certainly, the president is going to honor the invitation shortly. The NEC also went further to resolve that in the event government takes advantage of Mr. President honoring the invitation and doing anything untowardly towards him, the NEC resolved that it will activate a nationwide protest. So these are the decisions of the NEC.
Okay, so if I'm to get you clear, if anything is done negatively to the Nigerian Labour Congress president, it will trigger another protest. In other words, if anything goes wrong, there will be
absolutely. Okay. Because I want to reassure you, we have nothing to do with conspiracy, terrorism financing, cybercrime. We don't even have money to meet our regular needs. What would take us to financing terrorism in this country or anywhere in this world? As for as for the charge of subversion, treasonable felony, and subversion, I want to tell you that for us at the Nigerian Labour Congress, the issues of sovereignty, integrity, and well-being of this country, they are primary to us. We do that not out of the need for wages or salaries or budget. We do that out of passion. We have no other country than this one. I tell you, we are more concerned about the safety, about the sovereignty of this country than those who are now witch hunting us.
All right. Okay.
And those guys act on the basis of budget. We act on the basis of passion for this country, its well-being, its security, its sovereignty.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Benson Ukwa, for joining us. The points are indeed made clear, although one will wonder if there are more to that from the NEC meeting. But then again, we'll get more information from you. Thank you for joining us. Well, let's now head to the court, where the Court of Appeal is set to hear the appeal of former Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN, Walter Onnoghen, challenging his 2019 removal by the Code of Conduct Tribunal, CCT. Onnoghen argues that the CCT lacked jurisdiction and that its chairman was biased, denying him a fair hearing. He seeks to overturn the CCT's conviction on 6 counts of false assets declaration, his removal from office, and the order to confiscate his assets. Onnoghen's lead counsel, Adegboyega Owomolo, contends that only the National Judicial Council, NJC, can discipline a CJN for misconduct. The appeal also highlights that the CCT ignored court order halting the trial and failed to present the petitioner whose accusations led to the charges. The federal government will begin selling crude oil to the Dangote Refinery in Naira from October 1, following a decision made during a meeting led by Finance Minister Walter Onnoghen. The Technical Implementation Committee reviewed progress on Naira payments for crude oil sales and outlined roles for key stakeholders, including NMDPRA, CBN, NUPRC, and Afrexim Bank. Sadc Adediji, chairman of the FIRS and the Technical Subcommittee, confirmed that the first PMS delivery from Dangote is expected next month. Finance Minister Edu emphasized the importance of transparency and directed the committee to finalize the arrangement and prepare a report for President Bola Tinubu. This follows the Federal Executive Council's July 29 approval of Tinubu's directive for NNPC to sell crude oil to refineries in Naira. Away from that, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says that it recorded a sum of 3,297 billion Naira's profit for the year 2023. This the NNPC Limited, while presented its 2023 audited financial statements to newsmen in Abuja, said that it expended, a total revenue of about 24 trillion Naira for the financial year. Well, our man, Imalo Bagudu, has more in this report.
In a bid to promote transparency and accountability to the public, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited presented its 2023 audited financial statement to the public.
An excellent performance, being the first fruit of the PIA, the commitment of the board, management and staff of the company, thus leading to the attainment of 3.3 trillion profit after tax for 2023 financial year. Accordingly, the shareholders of the company have approved a final dividend of 2.1 trillion in line with the provision of PIA 2021.
Details of the statement, which was presented by the Chief Financial Officer of the oil giant, says that the NNPC Limited made a 28% increase in profit at approximately 3,279 billion naira in 2023 when compared to 2.4 trillion naira in 2022.
When you look at the performance of this company from 2019 to date, we have never looked backwards. It's always forward. The company, when we took over, was a loss-making corporation. And PIA came into being, and it became a karma company. We broke even at the end of 2019, and by 2020, we had produced the first profit ever for this company, which is 287 billion naira. The following year, in 2021, the company's profit grew to 674 billion naira. By the third year, in 2022, the profit jumped to 2.5 trillion naira. Of course, in that year, we also had the JV assets transferred from the corporation to us as part of our take-up assets. Now, in 2023, the profit has also grown by 28% from 3.5 trillion to 3.297 trillion naira.
The executive vice presidents of the upstream and downstream sectors of the company also provided an update of the fuel queues being experienced, the nation's refineries, and current gas exploration concerns.
We were doing as low as 1.1 million barrels when these vandals hit us really hard. And because of the intervention, we've been able to ramp up production, and I said, on a particular day this month, we hit 1.7 million barrels. It definitely indicates that the measures are working.
You'd also understand that with the rains also come situations where ability to discharge petroleum products is challenged. When you have lightning and thunderstorms, you have to suspend not just the discharge of petroleum products onshore, but also the evacuation from the tank farm.
The NNPC Limited said that the audited financial statement will be uploaded on its website for the public. In Abuja for News Central, I am Emmanuel Bagudu.
An interesting report there. When we come back, we would have energy consultant and expert Shehu Daniel speak more on the energy sector. But first, let's take this break. We'll be right back. And thanks for staying with us. Let's also tell you that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited says that the Pakat Refinery is fully ready for production, but has, however, been unable to start production because it is yet to be certified. The Executive Vice President downstream of the NNPC Limited made this known to newsmen in Abuja during the presentation of its 2023 audited financial report.
When we will get products out, that's a combination of the process of testing. We will test. You don't get on-spec production immediately you start a refinery. You're going to get off-spec production. So we should be getting some off-spec production coming into tank in the next few days. But we will not be able to get that to the public.
Well, joining me all the way from London, the UK, Seun Dania, energy consultant, is here with me. Mr. Dania, let's begin with the latest. How excited, first of all, are you about the commencement of the sale of crude oil to domestic refineries in Naira?
I'm cautiously optimistic, but definitely we can give it to the government that they listen. This is one of the things that we have been clamoring for in the past, that products or resources that we produce locally should be sold locally. As long as we're selling locally, it should be priced in our local currency. So yes, I'm very, it's a bold step by the government, and definitely to reduce pressure on our FX, on the Forex. It will definitely also, of course, encourage local refineries to purchase crude oil locally. And then, of course, we do not spend so much time and money looking for dollars in order to, successful implementation is very, very important, however. So the NNPC needs to be very transparent in their pricing and ensuring that local refineries are able to, get access to these products.
Okay, so currently, there's a recent conundrum. It has been reported that the NNPCL got the nod to one, pay for fuel subsidy with 2023 dividends due to the Federation. That's one. Two, suspend the payment of the 2024 interim dividends to the Federation to augment its cash flow. Looking at this too, will this impact supply of refined products in the short, medium, or even the long term? What are your thoughts?
Short term, I think the impact will be minimal because the funds they are talking about is money that they should already have. I'm hoping that it is saved and they have it available. It will go towards paying the subsidy money anyways. In the medium term, I believe that if there are no cash flow constraints, the NNPCL will have the ability to put in more money towards infrastructure development and towards exploration and production. That will then affect the future supply or guarantee more supply in the future. In the long term, the government needs to address the subsidy issue head on and also ensure that there's sustainable financial model for investment and growth. And they need to also, which they're already doing, investing in the security sector, because most of the challenges that the upstream organized companies are having, which is making cost of production expensive, is due to insecurity, pipeline vandalization, and whatnot.
All right. Do you think that Nigeria has enough crude oil to enforce the domestic supply obligation, as mandated by the Petroleum Industry Act?
Definitely. Nigeria has enough. We have enough crude reserves to meet our domestic supply obligations. However, the challenges, like I mentioned, security issues needs to be properly addressed for us to be able to harness the potential and get investment within the upstream exploration and production sector, people to be able to go in there, spend money, bring in investment to explore and produce the reserves. We have proven reserves without a doubt, and that is definitely more than enough for.
All right. Anyway, let's close on the NNPC Limited's financial results for 2023. Talking about the financial year, it announced a historic profit of 3.3 trillion naira for the 2023 fiscal year, marking a significant increase of 749 billion naira from the previous year profit of 2.54 trillion naira. Now, how much of that increase can we attribute to naira devaluation? Is there any real profit, and how slim or robust is this bottom line? From 24 trillion naira revenue now to 3 trillion naira profit.
The impact, the devaluation against the dollar it's definitely contributed. It's part of the devaluation, because if we look at it in the past couple of years, the naira has depreciated well over 400%. So a portion of this profit where they were boasting about in naira values is for dollar denominated revenue. We are selling crude oil in dollars and then we are declaring revenue in naira. Evidently, this increase is due to the devaluation of the naira. So if we were to punch the numbers and see how much that would actually be in US dollars compared to the other years, might not be significant, but at least it's something that's something that we should be proud about. But so it might not be solely to the devaluation. The NNPC has made real improvements. The operational efficiency and cost control.
All right.
The exact impact of the currency fluctuation requires further analysis.
All right. I want to thank you so much, energy consultant Seun Dania, for joining us. Thanks for your input.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Staying with the independent marketers, Petroleum, talking about the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, they've raised concerns over the shortage of premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, affecting its members across the country amidst widespread scarcity. The umbrella body, which boasts over 3,000 members and controls a significant share of Nigeria's filling stations, also accused the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited of failing to supply adequate products to its members. The chairman of IPMAN, Ore Depot Shino Amo, claimed that the NNPCL, as a sole importer of petroleum products, has not provided sufficient supplies to IPMAN for the past 3 years, leading to a dire situation for its members. The NNPCL had, through its chief corporate communications officer, Olufemi Shoneye, stated that the oil firm was working hard to tackle the fuel supply challenges, stressing that the queues should clear by midweek. Well, joining me now is the National Public Relations Officer, Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Chinedu Ukadike. Mr. Ukadike, thank you for being here with us on News Now.
Thank you very much.
All right, the issue of fuel scarcity, as you can see, across different states in Lagos, Abuja, some parts of the north and the likes, has become a recurring one that has refused to indeed go away. Why is this so? We'd like to hear your own standpoint or your view.
Okay. The issue of fuel scarcity in Nigeria has not a recurring decimal because of the source of petroleum distribution in the country. When the removal of subsidy was announced by Mr. President, I believe that there was no adequate preparation for such removal. Our refineries were not working. We are still importing petroleum products. And NNPCL is an independent company also marketing petroleum products as independent marketers, as also MOMA members. What we were able to achieve was to bundle independent marketers into NNPCL portal as marketers to be able to be giving us petroleum products. So we are at the mercy of NNPCL to give us petroleum products when they have or when they receive products. And independent marketers during that period of time, some of them try to see how they can be able to import their own products in line with the PIA bill, in line with the deregulation agenda and the removal of subsidy. But it becomes very, very difficult for them to repatriate their funds and be able to buy petroleum products at the same landing costs and sell in competition with NNPCL. So most of them who imported products will not be able to compete with NNPCL and the chicken out. So like my counterpart said, that we're still dependent in one source. That source is importation of petroleum products. Nigeria cannot stop importing until some of our local refineries will start working. And once there is a robust production of petroleum products in Nigeria, that is when we will go out from this brouhaha of importation of petroleum products. And independent marketers can be able to now choose where they can be able to get their product, either from NNPC or from Pakat Refinery or from Walter Refinery or from other modern refineries that are producing petroleum products.
All right. So, I mean, one of the impressions that was created that supported the removal of fuel scarcity was that supply issues like what we're going through now will become a thing of the past. But this has not happened at all. Why is that so? Why are we still going back and forth and so on? I know you've mentioned that until we get our refineries working, then we may have an end to all of these crises or this crisis. But what do you say about even getting the refineries working? And what are your thoughts about the fact that we do have crude to be sold in Naira, especially to the likes of Dangote?
I really applaud Mr. President for taking that bold step of selling crude in Naira to Dangote. And also an appeal that it will be adequate supply of crude to Dangote, except the local content crude that are meant for our local refineries. They should be sold to Dangote. While I'm saying so is that when you look at the logistics inherent in importation of petroleum product, you will find out there are time frames, there are 30 days logistics period. There are 30 days to logistics period. That 30 days will bring out the 30 days sufficiency or 60 days sufficiency. That means NNPC is supposed to have products stored in Nigeria that will last us for 30 to 60 days if there is any hookup, if there is any hitch in terms of distribution. Because these products are imported. Sometimes when you import a car, they will say there's a iceberg in the sea that the ship cannot be able to go. These are the challenges that are inherent with NNPC. And these are some of the things, logistics problems they were talking about. They are companies, they want to make fun. So they want to make profits. So there's no way they will say they don't want to import product. They want to import product. And they also want to distribute. Independent marketers also want to sell. But the problem here is that if this crude is not given to some of these refineries, and this refinery will start producing, and at optimal level, not at non-optimal level, at optimal level, especially the Pakat Refinery and Warren Refinery are being refurbished and revigorated to serve Nigerians. That will be competition. There will be competition. I don't see where somebody will be afraid of Dangote when there is other refineries, producing.
Okay, Mr. Kadike, I think, Mr. Kadike, sorry to butt in. I think we do get your point. It's a laudable one, considering what the president has indeed done. But thank you so much for your time, and thank you for speaking with us here on News Now.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll take a look at more stories here on News Now. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Let's also tell you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the implementation of the 0% import duty on basic food items effective from 15th of July to 31st of December 2024. Now, this measure is geared towards ameliorating the high cost of food items in the Nigerian market and is limited to the national supply gap to be determined by a committee set up by the Minister of Agriculture. The restricted items include maize, millet, rice and wheat. Others include husked brown rice, grain, sorghum, and beans. Customs National Public Relations Officer Abdullahi Maiwada gives guidelines on importers that are eligible to participate. Well, we'll bring to you more updates on that story, but President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of a new management team for the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, NDPHC. The special advisor to the president on media and publicity, Ajarin Gelali, made this known in a statement on Monday. The president expects the new members of the management of the company to deploy their expertise and experience to drive NDPHC's mandate of effectively managing the national integrated power projects. The network of Abuja Left Groups, one of the organizers of the recently concluded End Bad Governance protest, has accused Nigeria's federal government of planning to secretly arraign some of its members who were arrested during the protest. The group, while speaking at the Federal High Court in Abuja, says that government is using underhand tactics to extend the stay of its members in detention following the continuous postponement of their court case whenever it is slated for hearing.
We also have information from inside the court that they are about to bring them in today. As you can see here, there are lots of security trucks, DSS, police, army, mounted around this venue, NSCDC mounted around this venue. So there's this much amount of security present, it's obvious that they are bringing them. And inside the court, if you get to court 10 right now, they have also asked the vacation court to be on standby. That's one case is coming, and they have not revealed what the case is to anybody. So it means that they are planning to have a secret trial of people who protested peacefully.
The trial of Precious Adeyemi, journalist and publisher of online newspaper News Platform, resumed today at the Ebutemeta Magistrate Court in Lagos. Adeyemi is facing a 4-count charge of offensive publication and breach of peace stemming from a complaint filed by prominent businessman and politician Prince Chris Odinaka Igwe. The charges relate to Adeyemi's publication of reports titled Gunshots in VGC. MD and CEO of Mainland Oil and Gas Limited Chris Odinaka Igwe alleged to have opened fire after dog encounter turned hostile. Adeyemi was arrested at his residence on May 27 following the publication of the reports. During today's proceedings, Cross-examination of the first witness continued, with the court adjourning the case until September 13 for further hearing. The case is being closely watched by media rights groups and civil society organizations.
All the counts are principally the same. Conspiracy to cause a breach of public peace by offensive publication, and then you also have offensive publication with intent to cause breach of peace and all that. So that's what he's principally charged for. We commenced trial on the last date, which is 29th of July, and then we have also continued today. All right, so we are trying now. Principally, we are through with the...
Well, let's also bring you another news that the management of Eco Electricity Distribution Company, EK EDC, has given reason for the current power outage being experienced in certain areas of Lagos, notably Victoria Island and Ikoyi. In a media statement, the EK EDC attributed the situation to the tripping of the Egbe 330 kV line to Aja. Eco Electricity, however, assured that it was working with the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, to resolve the situation. Let's move on now to health matters, where Governor Babagana Zulum has raised concerns about the integrity of Borno State Contributory Healthcare Management Agency and a state primary healthcare development agency in the state. At a stakeholders meeting on Basic Healthcare Provision Fund in Maiduguri, Governor Zulum highlighted the need for a synergistic approach between these agencies and local government chairmen for transparency and accountability. News Central's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
Counterpart funds of over 200 million naira approved by the state government to improve healthcare system in Borno, a state affected by years of conflict. Essential services are what the government is targeting.
This is a testament to our determination to improve the healthcare system in Borno State.
Governor Zulum expressed his displeasure with both the State Primary Healthcare Development Agency and the Borno State Contributory Healthcare Management Agency.
And primary healthcare development agency should declare the amount to local government chairman in written for transparency and accountability. And then under no circumstances, funds that were channeled to facilities shall be diverted to any organization.
The governor emphasized that efficient healthcare delivery is important for the well-being of Borno's residents and urged the agencies to enhance their operational effectiveness.
All those facility managers that could not manage the funds shall be shown the way out. If you are ready to work, fine and good. If you are not ready to work, move out.
He stressed the need for transparent processes and proper oversight to ensure that healthcare funds are managed responsibly and effectively to benefit the residents of Borno State.
We assure you that we will monitor the utilization of the fund each year. We will not allow any room for diversion.
So that means we'll have a synergy between the local government and the two boards. So by doing that, we are going to have what every single kobo now we receive, the local government chairman will be able to know, and for them to also monitor the proper utilization of this fund.
We are going to use the money to expand more so that more people will also be enrolled, and then we will be able to access healthcare services.
Citizens are hopeful of effective healthcare delivery with the coordinated effort to maximize the impact of the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund and address persistent issues in the state's healthcare infrastructure. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
You're watching news now here on News Central Television. We'll go for another break. When we come back, we'll bring to you more stories. Welcome back. Let's move up north ahead of the presidential elections on September 7, where Youssef Al-Chiche, a candidate from Algeria's Socialist Forces Front, the country's oldest opposition party, has held a campaign rally in the city of Bijaya. Al-Cheche pledged to promote a moderate Islam, a North African Islam that allows openness towards others, an Islam of tolerance between Algerian men and women.
Nous devons taper sur toutes les portes. Nous devons expliquer à nos concitoyens. Nous devons les convaincre que la situation nécessite et impose à tout un chacun de s'impliquer dans les villages, dans les villes, dans notre environnement quotidien. باش سنيني السكين إلا قد دسم إلا قد تعاونم إلا قد تواليم عند تسدو ثمور ثنون.
شو الدنيا نتمنى ان شاء الله بالعبده ديالين الرباح هذا الخير يثمرتنا ان شاء الله استيدت المفروض يقرزين ان شاء الله.
A four-day gathering brings together high-level and technical officials from Southern African Development Community SADC member states, the African Union Commission, United Nations agencies, international organizations, civil society, and public and private sector representatives. The conference provides a dynamic platform for stakeholders across the SADC region to explore and discuss migration as a driver of development. It also focuses on the importance of collaboration across sectors to navigate complexities associated with migration and on addressing the impact of poorly planned migration on vulnerable groups such as children, women, the elderly, and people living with disabilities.
Important because it brings different skills, and it also brings an opportunity to actually be able to bring whatever it is that can actually be utilized to attract more investment and development. But besides that, we really do believe that if we plan it correctly and utilize the policies that are necessary, migration can actually be able to assist us to harness its dividend into building different sectors of society, including the economic development.
Well, let me just quickly say that, migration is a fundamental human right. So people are they are at liberty to go to anywhere that they choose to go or at any time. But we must do it very responsibly, and that's why we come up with the term regular migration. So in Nigeria, of course, Nigeria is not an exception to people wanting to live for greener pasture or economic reasons, family reasons, educational reasons. So Nigeria is also part of the train when it comes to migration. Yes, we cannot stop people from going, but we just preach that people go regularly or legally, as we call it.
Well, the ongoing event is happening live in South Africa, and we expect our correspondent Bongani Siziba to join us and give us more updates concerning the event. Well, don't forget that the conference provides a dynamic platform for stakeholders across the SADC, of course, member states, talking about the Southern African Development Community, and it's aimed to explore and discuss migration as a driver of development. Bongani Siziba joins me once again. Bongani, can you quickly give us an update on what the situation really like, what's happening there, and what has been said and what is yet to be said? Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Bongani Siziba, go ahead, please. Let's have your update. What's happening there at the conference? All right, as we try to establish a connection at the Southern African event taking place currently with our correspondent who's there to give us a feedback and update on what's happening. We look forward to connect right away. So let's try one more time. Bongani, can you hear me? Hello, Bongani Siziba. Can you hear me? All right. Well, away from South Africa, let's go straight to the United States of America, where President Joe Biden has endorsed Kamala Harris to defeat Donald Trump in the November election during his emotional farewell speech at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago on Monday. The 81-year-old, who quit the White House race in July, urged Americans to put a prosecutor in the Oval Office instead of a convicted felon, referring to one of Harris's previous roles.
He says we're losing. He's the loser. He's dead wrong. When we put a prosecutor in the Oval Office instead of a convicted felon.
And the sports head coach Bankole Olowokere has called up 35 players to Nigeria's under-17 girls team, the Flamingos, for the final phase of training ahead of the 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. The tournament will take place in the Dominican Republic from October 16th to November 3rd. The Flamingos were impressive in the qualifiers, scoring 25 goals across 6 matches. They defeated the Central African Republic 12-0 on aggregate, Burkina Faso 7-1, and Liberia 6-1 to secure their spot. Top scorer Hamani Chidi, who netted 13 goals in the qualifiers, is among the key players invited. Others include Peace Effiong, captain Taiwo Afolabi, goalkeeper Christiana Uzoma, and defender Priska Nwachukwu. Nigeria will compete in Group A, facing the Dominican Republic, Ecuador, and New Zealand. The date for the commencement of the 2024 National Youth Games has been changed. It was earlier scheduled to hold from the 10th to 20th of September, but has been changed to hold from 9th to 19th. The main games will commence with the arrival of participants on 9th September, followed by the competition running from the 10th to the 18th of September. Athletes and officials will depart on the 19th of September. The 8th National Youth Games will take place in Asaba, Delta State, with a packed schedule. The registration period for the event runs from the 23rd to the 28th of August 2024. Ipswich Town have signed midfielder Jan Kvist from Napoli on a season-long loan deal, the newly promoted Premier League club announced late on Monday. A 25-year-old who has earned 25 caps for Sweden has made 26 appearances for Serie A side Napoli after joining from French club Stade Reims last year. He actually won the Danish Super League title with Michelin before moving to France and was glad to complete the move. Ipswich manager Kieran McKenna said Kvist's arrivals boosted his options in the middle of the park. Ipswich face Manchester City in their next Premier League match on Saturday after suffering a 2-0 home defeat by Liverpool in their season opener. And that does it for the news for this hour. But before we go, let's take a look at some of the major stories. NLC holds emergency meeting over police invitation of Joe Ajaero. Government to start sale of crude oil to Dangote Refinery in Naira from October 1. Algerian opposition candidate Al Chiche holds rally, promises moderate Islamic administration. You can go ahead and send in your eyewitness reports to the WhatsApp number on the screen. And you can also follow us on all socials. We are at News Central TV. You can also watch us live. We're on DSTV, channel 422, Star Times, channel 274. And you can stream live on YouTube and Facebook. Not forgetting to watching us on Avo TV, Limex, and Open Heavens. I'm Joe Hanson. Good afternoon.